HPE's new zero-touch automation solutions can help telcos transform themselves in order to seize new revenue streams and address challenges and risks they're facing with the growing disaggregation and cloudification of their networks. Here to explain is Ignacio Aldama, HPE orchestration evangelist, NFV, and SDN expert.
Hi there, everyone. So, as we have been talking, automation is key, because once we have all the infrastructure, where we really want to go is to deliver applications and the services on top to make extra revenue with our customers and deliver them the right quality of services. How HPE is helping you, okay? We are going to show the beauty of the automation, but not only on getting the service done and the application running, but also to keep them running with zero-touch automation, okay? Let me show you two use cases, okay? Where I'm going to show you on this slide, okay, what you're going to see, and then we are actually going to demonstrate to you, okay? First use case that is kind of the most interesting for you maybe is when you have your application running, you want the application to keep running and to maintain the SLA. So what we are doing is we are detecting the SLAs of the application. We can do on a simple thresholding. We are going to show you just for the simplicity of the demo, but we can also apply artificial intelligence or machine learning techniques to detect the pattern of your application. So without telling something, we can see which is your average behavior, your normal behavior, and when there is a spike, we can automatically detect this is an anomaly on your behavior and react upon that to keep the SLA of your service running. So, which is the specific demo we are going to see? We have a real application also from HPE, a telephone application server that is running calls. So you are calling your mom, it's Christmas time, and then the flow of calls is going to increase because more people want to call her family, of course, and everyone wants to keep talking. So we are going to maintain the quality. It's going to get increasing slowly, and we are going to see how we are going to react. And we are going to demonstrate that we are going to that in containers. So to demonstrate that we also support containers and not only getting the data from them, analyze it and react, but also redeploy and adjust the application to the exact needs that are needed. So let's go directly into the action, okay? So now we are focusing over here in the demo setup. What we can see over here is we are working over different technologies. We can manage Kubernetes, OpenStack, VMware, and we have different sites. Only on the demo site we have 7 locations different where we can place the application, okay? But in the real use case, for example, one of our main customers, that is Verizon, we are managing 8,000 sites. So this kind of scale, okay? So if we go and see right now the application, okay, we have simplified so you can follow a little bit. It's a very simple application. There are many components on this application, but you don't need to care about. So there are many components on the application, but you don't need to worry. For you, it's a simple application, and there can be many parameters that you need to set up on the application, but we are also taking care of that. And in this particular case, there is only one you need to have a look on the demo, okay? That is the number of replicas of the telephone application server, right? Because those are the ones running the calls. So here we have the real Prometheus, the standard monitoring interface for Kubernetes, and you see that nothing is happening because we are not yet triggering the calls. So I'm going to directly trigger 15 calls per second, and we are going to see how this really is going to start picking up, and we are going to see how the automatic monitoring is going to detect the pattern, detect the SLA violation, is going to create an event on alarm, and is going to react upon that. We are going to see the automated action, and we are going to see how the portion of the application that is needed to be scaled is going to react. And you see, the 2 months ago when we set up the demo and we were doing all the demonstrations, it's running for 2 months, and there will be something that created only a few seconds ago, their reaction, okay? So what we can see right now is that this start to pick it up. It's 5 calls per second already, because this is the average per minute, and nothing is still happening because, of course, the application can happen a certain amount of load. But there will be a moment where the application is going to be really stressed. And then we need to react upon that, okay? In the meantime, something we are going also to show you is we are not only like reacting and monitoring and managing the application, but we are also providing separation of concern. So you can see over here that I have a catalog of applications I can manage based on my profile, and this is my application. It's a multi-tenant, multi-site, multi-vendor environment. So if I switch to another environment, okay, I may have a different catalog. I see different instances. One is running because my colleagues may be running another demo, okay, in parallel. And if I go, for example, to the tracking, this has also the same separation of concern, so I can see the actions that are relevant to the site I'm managing or the application I'm managing, but not everything. Okay, so this can be running for different customers or end customer that you manage. They can log in also the application and only see the relevant information. We can see that not only manage the sunny day, because this is the demo, this is going to work, but you can see that I have also some jobs that from other demos that are running in parallel that are failing. So we track not only the good things, but also the bad things, and we are keeping track who is triggering the action, when it happened, how much it did take. And we can see even the intermediate actions that are taken, either for a regular provisioning or for a remediation, also how much it did take. And we also use this data sometimes to optimize. Okay, so if there is a reaction that is taking longer than usual, we can see, hey, what's the more relevant portion that is taking longer time? That's the one we need to optimize. So if we came back to original case, we will be probably picking up to the top. It's already reaching 50 calls. And at a moment in time, here it is. You see, I got lucky and it's real time because I need to picture in a particular moment. Like the system is automatically reacting. It's something is happening. So we have the alarm, right? And we are going to see what happened, okay? If we double click on the details, we can see, you're probably not able to read it, but I read it for you. It's a CNF application, so container-based, telephone application server. And the calls are already about 10. That is the limit that we set up for this demo to make it easy. And then there's a threshold that we cross over, so we need to react. The threshold can be as simple as a 10 or as a pattern detected by the machine learning that we talked before. And here we see different action is applying changes to the particular application, not the other ones, multi-tenant environment. We are tracking the user, so even if it's a system reacting, it needs to authenticate, and we are tracking that. So you can make the difference between human actions, automated actions, and make the best of all, okay? And of course, we are tracking as well, like the timing and the actions. So if we can here to the Kubernetes, we can see, as we mentioned before, the full set was created 2 months ago. Now we are reacting, and 40 seconds ago, we are scaling only the portion, because you see the application is complex. There's a lot of things here you don't need to understand. For you, if you remember, it's just a simple box. It's your application, and it's everything packaged, so you don't need to worry about that. And remember, which is the only parameter we want to look at, and the rest has been automatically set up for you. And we came here, and we searched for the replicas, that is the relevant one. Now has been set to 2, because now we have 2 replicas in order to manage 10 calls each, keeping the service level of quality that we want. Okay? But that's not the end of the story. This is how we keep the operations running, how we maintain the SLAs of the application. And now we are going to show you a second use case. We are now increasing the level of complexity. We have done the simplest thing with 0 touch. You automatically deploy something, and then we automatically react on continue. So nothing to do, just watch what's happened, right? We are going to do something more complex, disaster recovery, because not all the times the things work, and even if they work, they may be situations like an earthquake, flame, there is a war and you are getting bombed, something like that. So you may have not even only applications, but services that have different applications combined together that are placed in a particular location. And they are using, for example, virtual machines, like more traditional technology, right? And if the site is down, is affected by a particular event, that can be an uncontrolled event like an earthquake, or a planned event like a migration or a shutdown for an upgrade, then you need to migrate the services, you detect the failure, you need to see how many of the services of that site are affected, you need to move the things to the backup place. And in this case, we are going one step ahead and we are saying, oh, the backup is not the same one. Of course, it's a different place and the technology is different. It's Kubernetes. So we are going to detect that the backup need a different technology, search for the equivalent package of the application, and transform as we recover into a new technology, this Kubernetes. And you're going to see with all this with a single click. So this is more or less the steps we're going to see. I'm going to go through you. I'm going to show you graphically how the service look like. We are going to set down, this is the only click I'm going to do on the application, and then I'm going to walk you through different screens to see everything that is happening behind the scenes, okay? Here we have the service, right? This is a virtual run use case. There is a network service with a forwarding graph, and there are a controlling unit and a deployment unit that I can show you with real commands on Kubernetes. Here in this site, we have another service, not yet our service because this is Kubernetes, okay? Our service, so CU and DU over virtual machine. These are going to go out and they are going to get transformed into Kubernetes, and we are going to see not only the SMF or the UPF services that are running independently of our service, we are going to see more, right? So we can see different things. Our service composed of different applications that we don't need to know, okay? We know only there is a service. How many applications there are behind, which is the technology, we don't care. It's everything automated for you. Then we have seen the next level of detail of the application. We can see that there are two applications, the DU, the CU, and the DU, and there are other applications running on different sites, multi-site, multi-tenant, multi-catalog. And we also have, to make it a little bit more crisp, we have integration with another systems, for example, inventory, because when you are deploying services, you may need to connect to the rest of the ecosystem. For example, you need to charge the customer for how much they are using. So for that, you need to inform the billing system, or you need to be aware where the service has been deployed because someone needs to know about the topology and you need to inform inventory. And this is what we are doing also automatic over here. So now we are going here, but we are not going to touch our deployment service. We are going to come to the sites, okay? We are going to select the central site and we are going to do the only click on the demo that it says, hello, this site now is down. And when I do the modification, all sorts of things are going to happen. We are going to see. First one, we came to the tracking because we also track not only at the application level, but also at the service layer. And we can see that there is running a modification of the service. So someone, either in a planned event or an unplanned event like an earthquake, something happened to the site. And then many things are going taken care by the system automatically. So we came here to the deployments and we can see that there is a network service on the primary side that is being removed in this case because the site is down. Typically you don't need to remove it because the site is down, but in the demo we are just clean up, okay? We are creating the backup. We are changing the name just so it's easy to follow in the demo because normally it would be the same name, the same services, everything same. And we are going to see how these portions, these applications are going to be moved to another place. At the moment in time, these are grayed out because they are being automatically unprovisioned and they are going to be reprovisioned in a different technology. Okay, you can see we are also tracking. This is a different user, okay, and it's making the undeployment, okay. Here we have the virtual machines that at a moment in time they are going to get removed. They are fully removed, okay, so we have only the other slices that are running because multi-tenant space, other of my colleagues are still running, another virtual machines we don't care for, okay. if we go to the inventory, we can also start seeing the changes. So we have already communicated to the inventory or to the billing system in the other cases, like the new information, the change of the name, like now they are container-based, there's a CU and a DU, and this is a new site. All the information is keeping track. And if we go here, I don't know if they are already there or not, we can see now they are deployed over Kubernetes running 10 seconds ago, literally like that. But as we mentioned, this is not only the end of the story, again, because we are doing something that not everyone is doing. We are doing intent-based automation, right? So this is not only like, hey, I detect something and the thing is going to move over. You can do that with a script, probably complex, but you can do that. But the system knows on the service definition that the services need to go to the primary side. And if something happened to the primary, they need to go to the backup, right? But that maintains all over the life cycle. So now the site is down, and I'm going to trigger a new instance. So you are also going to see the automation during the creation. Okay, you see, everything has been fully updated. Okay, because it's also verifying that the new deployment is okay, right? So now I'm checking the deployment. I can have different versions of the same service, and I'm just selecting the same primary site, and I'm selecting exactly the same secondary site. And you can see that the system is detecting that the primary site is down, the secondary site is up. So where do you think the new request should go? To the secondary site automatically, no need to go and fail and then move again. Go directly to the new site. So we do the creation, okay, and now we have two services, and if we see this in a more graphical way, and we do what we were doing before, okay, remember the site reference? So we have the primary and the backup, and now what happened that is different from before, the first service moved to the backup, and the second service that we live deployed directly went to the backup, okay? So what is going to happen is we are exactly same as before, keeping track, and you can see that there is no difference between the virtual machines or the containers. The system is behaving exactly the same, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a service with multiple VMs on containers or both mixed together. The way of the operation is the same, and the most important, it's automated. So you are saving time, okay? And the things are in progress. At a moment in time, this will end, and we will have another copy on the Kubernetes. We can keep track of the things that we have seen before. This is going already ended. We are going through the validation process right now. We can see we have more copies. 2 minutes ago, 20 seconds ago, right? And if you're interested, depending on the time you have, we can even move back. So we can restore, and now you see like super simple case, like there was only one and it moved, but then a little more complex, I deploy a new one, fully unrelated, maybe even another customer did it in the same location, and now both are in the backup. If I restore the location, both things move back, because the intention of the service is to be on the primary. Of course, you can tune that if you don't want the things to keep moving if they keep running, but your intention is to be on the primary because you are probably carving out some resources on the backup place, right? So this is already finished. So let's restore, and then we will came back to virtual machines. So we do the two flows from virtual machines to Kubernetes, the typical way you want to upgrade, okay? And also the opposite. And this probably has already finished. We came here again, and I select this and that, because you see there are multiple users, multiple tenants. We are all operating at the same time, okay, with different permissions, okay? And I came back to the site, and I modify back, and I say, now it's active. I do the modification, and guess what's going to happen? Exactly same thing. One modification of the site, moving back, now is getting restored. But this time we are detecting two services. One that was there, you can see it's prepared, it's a demo. Now I just live deployed, and both, they in theory prepared, but it's exactly the same as this one, they are going to move back, okay? And of course, if they will have different backups or different primaries, they'll move back to the actual location. So let me show you. So they are moving back, they are restoring the primary, they are deleting the backup, and they are doing that in both services. Okay, so both are doing exactly the same behavior. Okay, and of course we can see a little bit graphical that now, because the system is restored, okay, they are now pointing both to the primary. And of course, if we go to our charging system, instead of having only this, now we are going to have more, okay, new copies with everything keeping track, okay. And at a moment in time, we are not going to get you bored, just go a little bit to see like if there is something happening and see the first virtual machines already, so you get the sense of reality that this is working. Okay, at a moment in time, this is going to come, and when we refresh, we are going to have 4 copies because each service got 2 applications in this case, like kind of the scale out. Here it is, so 4 things happening at the same time, moving back to the virtual machine environment. And let's see, they are doing the pre-check, like, because we can automate on the operations, like check before, like to see like you have enough capacity, and checks after in order to ensure that the full application is running, because you don't want to install something and it's not working, right? Why you keep it installed if it's not working? The main benefits of all this is like your operations team need to learn less. They automate, and you can see they can deploy applications in Kubernetes virtual machines. You don't give a shit what they are. You can directly manage them, so you don't struggle with the technology. You use the technology to provide more services, and you spend majority of your time defining services, SLAs, and how to react upon that, and packaging those into services that your customer want to buy. Okay, instead of struggling like I need to understand Kubernetes, I need to combine those, and by the time you are on the market, you are already late. Okay, so that's the benefit of all this automation. Okay, and finally, probably these are going to be here. Here they are. Okay, so I'm glad that you enjoyed the show, and if you have more questions, we have more complex use cases like 5G as a service or things like that. Deploy a full 5G core in one single click. We keep like a condensed and simplified use cases, even they are extremely appealing, but they need to be a demo, and we have a limited time and we don't want to get you bored. So any more questions, came to me. I'm the evangelist for the orchestration. I can talk about several of those products, and you know where we are. Thank you very much for attending.